So imagine this, you are invited to a group meeting where everyone talks about friendship, peace and cooperation, but when it's your turn to speak about a serious issue, like a terror attack in your own house, everyone just awkwardly looks away and says, let's not talk about that right now. That's exactly what happened with Indian Defence Minister Rajnath Singh at the recent SCO meeting. At the Shanghai Cooperation Organization meet, countries like India, China, Russia, Pakistan and others came together to issue a joint statement. These are those typical diplomatic summaries where everyone pretends to agree on everything. Now India expected something very basic and said, if we are talking about regional peace and security, can we at least mention the recent terror attack in Pahalgam? As you all know, on April 22nd in Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir, 26 people were murdered in a deadly terror attack orchestrated by Pakistan through its proxy force Lashkar-e-Taiba. Now, India wanted to be acknowledged, simple, fair and factual. But here comes the twist. The draft statement mentioned the hijacking of the Jafar Express in Pakistan that happened on 11th March. But completely ignored the Pahalgam attack in India that happened on 26th April. They mentioned a train hijack but not a massive terror attack that killed 26 people. So naturally India said, hold on, if terrorism is not even mentioned, we are not going to sign this paper. And that's exactly what happened. Indian Defence Minister Rajnath Singh refused to sign. But the main question is, why was the Pahalgam attack removed from the joint statement? Well, it is because of two countries, Pakistan and its illegitimate father, China. They both objected to including any references to terrorism, especially cross-border terrorism. But then India said no. Also, if you see, the SCO was originally formed to fight regional terrorism. Now let's talk about why China backed Pakistan. This is not new. As you know, China is Pakistan's second father, and the United States proudly takes the third spot. But let's not forget, India is the original biological father, though Pakistan refuses to acknowledge it. But that's okay, denial runs deep in that family. It's fine, we have moved on. So what does China benefit from Pakistan? Here's the deal. China sees Pakistan as a counterweight to India. Keeping India busy on one side helps China on the other. The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPEC, is worth over $65 billion, and that gives China direct access to the Arabian Sea. And then of course, China is Pakistan's biggest arms supplier. So understand this, China gives Pakistan the guns and the US gives it the butter, and somehow Pakistan still manages to burn the toast. Pakistan takes weapon from the east, loans from the west, and then use both to crash someone else's party. It is like asking one friend for pocket money and the other for snacks, and then picking a fight with the neighbor. But let's be real, China does not give those weapons for free. Pakistan buys them, often with loans, delayed payments, or flexible terms. In many ways, China practically owns Pakistan economically, militarily and diplomatically. Just for context, China is Pakistan's largest bilateral lender with over $29 billion in loans, making up around 22% of Pakistan's total external debt. So with all this background, it's easy to understand why India stood its ground at the SCO. Rajnath Singh did not just walk out in protest, he took a stand on principle. India said loud and clear, if this group can't even name terrorism, we will not be part of this show. In a world full of scripted diplomacy, that was probably the most honest move in the entire meeting. At the end of the day, India is not just signing papers for show. If our people are dying because of terror, we expect that to be acknowledged, not ignored. And the best part is, even if one member refuses to sign a joint statement, then the meeting concludes without a joint statement. Now the next important question is, why didn't Russia support India's stance in SCO? Although Russia has shown public support for India's concerns over cross-border terrorism, including the Pahalgam attack, however, within the formal SCO framework, Russia did not push the idea of support to mention the Pahalgam attack. Why? It is simple. The SCO operates on consensus, meaning that all member states must agree on the content of the joint statements. Even if one member objects, in this case India did, that's enough. There is no need for Russia or anyone else to jump in just to show solidarity. Because that would only make the entire SCO look divided and dysfunctional to the outside world. India-Russia ties are deeper and more strategic than some diplomatic footnote at one summit. These small gestures don't define the relationship. Grown-up diplomacy knows when to pick its battles. The second point is, Russia maintains important relationships with both India and China. While it supports India on terrorism in bilateral context, but then it may avoid taking sides in multilateral forums, where its broader interests with China and by extension Pakistan are at stake. As I said in the first point, India-Russia ties are deeper and more strategic than some diplomatic footnote at one summit. These small gestures don't define the relationship. Grown-up diplomacy knows when to pick its battles. Russia is confident that India will deal with Pakistan in its own way. These diplomatic footnotes are symbolic. And as we all know, India has recently redefined its policy against terrorism, which now says that any attack on Indian soil will be considered as an act of war. So after Pahalgam attack and Operation Sindoor, India's security doctrine has changed from a reactive stance to a more decisive and offensive posture. Now any terrorist attack on Indian soil is no longer going to be treated as just another incident. It is officially going to be regarded as an act of war. Now this shift in policy gives India a clear foundation to respond swiftly and forcefully, even to the slightest provocation. In short, India has drawn a new red line, and if Pakistan even tries to cross it through proxies or covert means, India is now ready to change the situation and deal with Pakistan in a way that suits India, not anyone else. I hope you found this video informative, and I'll see you in the next one.